Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to start off talking about something that I received in my email the other day from one of my viewers who got upset by something I said. Apparently, in the live chat, I said when people break NFA laws or NFA regulations, it's pretty much a victimless crime. And they were like, oh, how is that a victimless crime? How is it a victimless crime when people break the law like that? There's people get killed because of that. And to that, I want to say, well, no, people don't get killed because someone breaks an NFA law. They get killed because someone decides to break an NFA law and then commit murder. There's two different things there. Breaking a ridiculous regulation that means absolutely nothing and does nothing for anyone, and committing murder. Two totally different things. When you look at just violating NFA rules or NFA guidelines or any of those things, which we've been talking a lot about lately with pistol braces, etc., if you violate the rules, it's a victimless crime. Who suffers if your shoulder stock's a little too long? Nobody. No one suffers from that. Who suffers if your barrel's a half an inch too short? Nobody. Nobody suffers from that. The only people that would suffer are those that are dumb enough to go, hey, look, NFA, my barrel's too short. And even then, it usually isn't much of an issue. You have to be pretty high profile before they even try to make an example out of you. Occasionally it happens, mostly with like semi-automatic weapons that have been modified to work as automatic weapons. Of course, sometimes when they malfunction and become automatic weapons, people have been gotten in trouble. But most of the rules with the NFA are ridiculous, and they don't make anybody safer. All they do is create a bunch of laws and hoops for people to jump through to own certain items that doesn't do anything to stop crimes or anything like that. It's just bureaucracy. It's feel-good bullshit for the anti-gunners. It's stuff that politicians throw out there so that the anti-gunners think, look, they're trying to protect us, which really isn't even their job, and I don't want them to ever be their job. But it's just garbage, and when you violate it, no one gets hurt. That's the definition of a victimless crime. Just by doing something, like I said, having too short of a barrel, or having an AR or an AK that you put a stock on, like a folding stock on, and because it has one too few domestic parts in it, now you're a felon? No, that's ridiculous. In fact, when I spoke to the ATF the other day, I spoke to a couple different agents, and one of them pointed out to me 1.2 that we always scream all the time, like, this will make everybody a felon. Well, no, it has the potential to make people felons. You're not actually a felon until you're arrested, convicted, and then you're a felon. You got to be charged, arrested, convicted. If you have not had those things happen, well, then you're just someone in possession of a non-compliant device, which could lead to you obtaining a felony conviction. But like I was saying, to get back on topic here, there's nobody hurt. Like if I tomorrow decided to build 10 non-compliant firearms, and then I locked them in a safe and never touched them, who's hurt? Nobody. If I take them out and shoot them on my property occasionally, who's hurt? Nobody. Not unless I commit another stupid act like behavior responsibly with the gun, but just violating the NFA doesn't make anybody get hurt. There's no victim here. There's no victim at all. The only victim is someone who might not know the law and do some, like I said, half an inch short, too short a barrel, or too few American parts in a gun. And now they could be charged with a felony. That's who it harms. The NFA only harms the people who own the gun. It doesn't harm anyone who actually is outside of the person who modifies the gun themselves. It's just the reality. And the ATF knows that a lot of people don't follow the rules exactly. I mean, they're aware that a lot of people have a lot of non-compliant devices. They're also aware that those people don't break the law with them, so they don't really want to make a big deal out of it. Because here's the thing, if they actually started arresting me or you or anyone else for, let's say hypothetically, let me create a hypothetical situation. Let's say I had a Benelli, an M4 shotgun, something like that. And you know how it's got that little crinkled tube at the front because you can't have the full length extended tube on there because there's not enough domestic parts in the gun? Well, you can change some parts to domestic and then get the full tube on it, or you can just put the full tube on it. What's the difference? Who's going to know? No one. No one would ever know. In fact, most of the parts in the gun aren't even labeled as to where they're from. So how would anyone ever even prove that you had enough parts or didn't have enough parts? That just shows you how ridiculous the law is. And if I took that crinkled barrel off and put a full-length tube on it, that crinkled tube, and put the full-length tube on it, oh my God, am I a felon now? No, because I haven't committed any crimes that would have a victim, so why would I be a felon? Why would I even be charged with that, hypothetically, if I ever did something like that? It's ridiculous. And the reason they don't like to charge people with stuff like that, because if I ended up in front of a court, a jury, and the whole thing was, the crime he committed was he put an extended tube on his shotgun and he didn't change out enough internal parts to make them American instead of the ones that were put in there by the manufacturer. I could very easily see a jury saying, that's it. He didn't go out and harm anybody. He didn't do this. He didn't go on a killing spree. Nothing. All he did was not alter the gun from the way it was made, which is, aren't we supposed to discourage that? Don't we always say that, oh, if you alter guns outside their normal manufactured parameters, you fucking things up? Well, which is it? Which should we do? Should we alter guns or should we not alter guns? So I could very easily see in a jury be very confused by the whole premise and then be like, what was the crime? For there to be a crime, for someone to be turned into a felon, there should be someone harmed. And there's not. When you violate these rules, there's just not. I think everyone should be allowed to own short barrel rifles and short barrel shotguns and fully automatic weapons if they want them. I don't want them. I don't want pistol braces. I don't want bump stocks. But I think everyone who wants one should be able to have one per the Constitution. And because it's not got anything to do with risk or crime. Because here's a ridiculous notion. That guy, to get a shotgun, to sneak a shotgun into that church, he'd have to saw it off and hide it under his coat. And he's not going to do that because that would make him a felon because he sawed off that shotgun. See how ridiculous that sounds when you say it out loud? I have a feeling that if someone's willing to commit murder, they're not going to worry about whether they violated an NFA rule or not. That's all that keeps the NFA rules around, is people being willingly compliant. So if a criminal is willing to commit murder, surely he's willing to make a minor violation of a federal regulation regarding the length of the barrel of the tool he uses to commit murder. So the NFA is garbage. It needs to go away. I think that should be our main goal this year as a people, is to point out how unconstitutional the NFA is. I don't know if I've been saying NFA or NRA, but sometimes I interchange them here. So no, I'm talking about the NFA. You can apply a lot of this to the NRA, how they need to go away too. But we need to point out how unconstitutional the NFA is. We need to point out how ridiculous the laws are, how they don't make anybody safer. All they do is meddle in the lives of people and try to control what they can own. And that's all they do. And they discriminate against poor people. It's okay. Rich people can have as many fully automatic rifles as they want. A lot of people think they're illegal completely, but no. Rich people, like Bill Gates, could have 50 men working his property with 50 fully automatic rifles, would be totally legal and within his right. But you and I, we just can't afford them. That's the problem. They're just so expensive that it keeps us lowly poor people from owning them. That's what a lot of these laws are about. Most gun laws are about discrimination. Usually they started off as discriminating against race. Now they discriminate against socioeconomic status. And that's why I can't have multiple fully automatic weapons, but it's safe for Bill Gates to have them. Because it's all about class and controlling the people. So that's how I wanted to respond tonight. I know it was very long-winded and kind of loopy, but when that person told me, there's a victim if they take that gun out. Well, that's a different crime. There's no victim if they just violate the NFA regulation, which points out how stupid they are and how they need to go away. Hey, now we're to my favorite part of the show, gun talk. And I want to talk about a gun a lot of people have been asking me about. They've been asking me about the new CZ 97B and 97BD in 10 millimeter. Well, I know this gun has been available for a little while now as a custom shop gun, but apparently they're going to be putting it out as a production gun. And there's a little difference here between a production gun and a custom shop gun, as we all know. But rumors are they're going to be putting it out as a production gun. And people want to know what I think about that. Well, what do I think of an all steel, double stack, 10 millimeter, double action, single action decocker gun, especially the BD model? Sign me up. I want one. I definitely want one. Now, a lot of people are going to point out that, well, what's so special about it? We've got the P220s in 10 millimeter, both single action only and double action single action with decocker. So why is this gun so special? Well, the SIG is a great gun, but it's a single stack. It only holds 8 rounds. The magazines are 8-round magazines. The CZ is a double stack. It holds 12 rounds. That's 50% more ammo, if my math is right. So that's a big step. Plus, I find the CZ to be ergonomically a little better than the P220. They're a little large, mainly because they have a full 5-inch barrel, which some people want the full 5-inch barrel. But the CZ only has a it's 4 3/4 inches, just a little under 4 3/4 inches. So you're a little over a 1/4 inch short there on your length. But I think most of us will tell you that length is not what matters. At least not when it's just that little of a difference. So I wouldn't worry about that barrel length being shorter on the CZ. People worry, is that going to affect ballistics? Not enough you're ever even going to notice with that small of a difference in barrel length. And I think it makes the gun a more carryable gun, a more easily handled gun. It's a little lighter. I believe the CZ is around 41 ounces, whereas the SIG is around 44 ounces, which is only 3 ounces difference. But and it'll probably even out once you load the guns. They'll probably be similar in weight. Once you have that 50% more ammo in the CZ, they'll probably be very similar weight. But like I said, you have 50% more ammo. And like I said, you have better ergonomics, I think. Because I like that shorter barrel. I like the way it balances better. I just like it. I have 3 of the CZ P20s. 1 in 45, 2 in 10 millimeter, 1 single action only, and 1 double action single action. And I love them. They're great guns. But I would still choose this CZ97 if it was going to be a carry gun because more ammo, shorter barrel. I love the way the slides ride inside the frame on these guns. I just think it makes them very stable. So when it comes to the CZ97Bs and the 97BDs in 10 millimeter, whether they're going to be production guns or not, I can't say for 100% certainty right now. I hope they are. With no SHOT Show this year, there's not going to be a lot of announcements of new guns in one central location, so I don't know where we're going to get our info from. But right now they're available custom. Well, they're not really available. They're sold out. They've been sold out for a while. And they're around $1,165. I think a regular 97 BD is a little under $1,000. So you're paying let's say $200 more, but you're getting a custom job gun, for the CZ97. So worth it at that price even, I would say. Even if it was an $1,100 gun compared to a $900 gun in 45, I'd still say it's worth it for the 10 millimeter, the extra rounds, etc. It's even got more rounds than the 45 version. The 45 version only has 10 rounds. Whereas the 10 millimeter version has 12 rounds. So it's even better than the CZ97 and 45. Plus the 10 millimeter round is far superior to the 45. And I know I got off track here at the end of my little spiel here. But to get back on track, are they going to be production? I hope so. Will I buy one? If I can afford it, I most definitely would buy one because I think these are going to be a great gun, either just for the range, for home defense, or if you don't mind carrying a larger gun, for carry. All right, speaking of CZs, I want to end the day with our viewer EDC, our concealed carrier of the day, who is carrying a CZ. We have Gavin, who is carrying his CZ P07, one of the most underrated carry guns out there. Double action, single action, polymer gun, just an awesome carry gun. I put it right up there with the PX4 Storm and the PPQ, etc. as being really great guns. And in fact, I like this gun better than the PPQ because it's double action, single action. So really nice gun. And plus he wanted to show us this picture here because he wanted to show us that he uses a Vetter tuckable holster. And the great thing about that is you can tuck your shirt in around it. He wanted to show this to people, and I want to show this to people who maybe work in an office environment like he says he does, where you have to tuck your shirt in around your carry gun. So tuckable holsters make that possible. I know a lot of people out there aren't even aware of tuckable holsters. But if you're someone who tucks their shirt in, or you're in an environment where you tuck your shirt in because you have to, maybe a tuckable holster would be for you. You could actually carry a decent sized gun and do it more discreetly with your shirt tucked in. Because Gavin here says he works in an office, and that's what he does. Although I'm not really sure what office he would work in, because looking at him, I'm pretty sure he's that guy that does the TV show with that blue dog where they solve mysteries. So I don't know if they have to do that from an office or not. I always thought they were in their living room. But other than that, this is a great setup. And like I said, it shows you something a little different. Shows you a little bit of a different gun than what most people carry. And shows you something a little bit different as far as carrying with that tuckable holster. So that's our viewer EDC of the day, Gavin, with his CZ-P07 in an inside waistband tuckable. It's the Comfort Tuck holster from Vetter Holsters. All right, everybody, that's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back tomorrow. Well, we'll have all different topics to talk about. Before I go, I want to remind everyone that this show is 100% viewer funded. I do not take advertising. I do not take any third-party money. Don't take money from GOA, NRA, or any of the groups that support the GOA or the NRA or channel money from them or manufacturers to gun channels. I answer only to you. And when you do become a supporter, we use that money to fund TYM Triple P, the Pets and Vets program, the Friend program, etc. So if you want to see the things we do, go on over to tympistolproject.com, check it out. And if you like it and you like what we do and you want to support us, go on over to patreon.com/the Yankee Marshal and become a patron. And with that being said, I want to sign off tonight by saying, as usual, as far as the state of the world is concerned today, it is what it is. But if we keep level heads about us, we ignore the profiteers, the fear mongers, the people who just want to rile everybody up to drive up numbers and drive up clicks. If we ignore those people and do what's right for the Second Amendment, what things will be tomorrow, what things will be in the future is better.